What if I told you that you have at least 15 objects in your home that are just taking up space and draining your energy? Well, the truth is that we all accumulate things that we think are important, but that in reality only get in our way. Today, you will find out exactly which 15 objects could be making your home heavier and your life more complicated than it needs to be. You know that feeling that your house is always messy, even after you've organized it? Or when you're looking for something and it takes forever to find it? The problem may not be a lack of organization, but an excess of unnecessary things. Every object we keep without real need steals our time, energy, and mental space. If you don't learn to identify and eliminate these objects from your life, you'll continue to live in a messy environment, wasting precious time looking for important things and feeling suffocated by your home. But if you stick with me until the end of this video, you'll discover not only what these 15 objects are, but also a simple method for deciding what really deserves to stay in your home. Get ready, because some of these things will completely surprise you. There's an object that practically everyone has at home, and that you probably don't even realize how much it's getting in the way of your routine. I'm going to reveal what it is and why you should get rid of it today. Tip 1. Stacks of old newspapers and magazines. Let's start with something that is present in most homes and that you probably don't even notice anymore. I'm talking about the piles of old newspapers and magazines that accumulate in corners, on top of tables, inside drawers, or under the sofa. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? The problem with these materials is that they create a constant feeling of visual clutter. Even when you organize other objects, these piles of paper make the room look disorganized. In addition, paper collects dust, can attract insects, and takes up valuable space that could be used for more important things. The most common excuse I hear is, "But I'll still read it," or "There's important information in there." The truth is that outdated information is useless, and if you haven't read it yet, you probably never will. Nowadays, any information you need is available on the internet in an up-to-date format and much easier to access. To get rid of these piles, do the following. Take all the magazines and newspapers in your house and put them in one place. If there is some really important information, take a picture of the page with your cell phone or cut out just that specific part. Everything else can go straight to the recycling. Set a rule. Magazines or newspapers that arrive at your house have a maximum of 1 week to read. After that, they go away. The benefits of getting rid of these piles are immediate. First, you'll have a lot more free space. Second, the feeling of cleanliness will completely transform the space. Third, you'll stop wasting time looking for things in those piles. And lastly, your home will smell fresher, since old paper tends to create a musty smell. Tip 2. Broken or obsolete electronic devices. Now let's talk about something that almost everyone has hidden somewhere in their house. Electronic devices that no longer work or that have already been replaced by newer versions. I'm talking about that old cell phone in the drawer, the radio that no longer turns on, the printer that broke 2 years ago, the charger that you can't even remember what device it was for. These devices create a very serious psychological problem. Every time you see one of them, your brain makes a little mental note. I need to fix this, or I'll use it one day. This creates a constant mental burden, as if you had an endless to-do list. It's like carrying an invisible weight that only goes away when you get rid of these objects. Additionally, electronic devices take up space in drawers and cabinets that could be used to store things you actually use. They can also leak chemicals over time, especially batteries, which can damage other objects and even be harmful to your health. The method for dealing with this is simple, but requires courage. Do a thorough search of your home for all the electronic devices that are not being used. If a device has been broken for more than 3 months and you have not taken any steps to fix it, it is a sign that it is not really important to you. If you bought a new device to replace the old one, you do not need to keep both. For devices that still work but you no longer use, consider donating them to someone in need. For broken devices, look for electronic waste collection points in your city. Many electronic stores accept old devices for proper disposal. Never throw them in the regular trash, as this harms the environment. The benefits of getting rid of these gadgets are huge. You'll free up a lot of storage space. Your mind will feel clearer without that constant feeling of things to do. And you'll find that you have a lot more usable space in your home than you ever thought possible. Tip 3. Clothes that no longer fit. This is one of the hardest categories for most people to sort out, but it's also one of the most liberating when you can do it. I'm talking about the clothes that no longer fit your current body, the pieces you haven't worn in over a year, the clothes you save for when you lose weight, or for a special occasion that never comes. The problem of accumulated clothes goes far beyond a lack of space in your closet. They create constant psychological pressure. Every time you open your closet, you see clothes that don't fit, and this serves as a reminder of your current body versus the body you would like to have. This unconsciously creates frustration and low self-esteem. Plus, when you have a lot of clothes that you don't wear, it becomes much harder to find the pieces you actually want to wear. You waste time every morning searching for something that fits among dozens of options that don't fit you today. This makes the simple act of getting dressed a source of daily stress. The most effective method is this. Take all of your clothes out of your closet and lay them out on your bed. Yes, all of them. Now take each item individually and ask yourself 3 questions. Does this fit me today? Have I worn this in the last 6 months? And do I feel good wearing this? If the answer to any of these questions is no, the item needs to come out of your closet. For clothes that are in good condition and no longer fit, consider donating them to charity or to people you know who might benefit from them. For heavily worn items, use them as cleaning cloths or dispose of them properly. Make a rule. For every new item that comes into your closet, an old one has to go. The benefits are life-changing. You'll have a functional wardrobe where everything in your closet actually fits and suits you. Your mornings will be quicker and less stressful. You'll feel better about the clothes you have instead of always thinking about what you don't have. And best of all, you'll discover forgotten pieces that were lost in the clutter. If you're enjoying these tips and want to learn even more organization secrets, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I love hearing where you're from. Now let's continue with more tips that will transform your home. Tip 4. Duplicate kitchen utensils. Let's head straight to the kitchen now, because I'm sure you have at least 3 or 4 of the same utensils taking up space in your drawers. I'm talking duplicate can openers, too many potato peelers, too many wooden spoons, dull knives you never use, and small pots and pans that never come out of the cupboard. The problem with duplicate utensils is that they turn your drawers into a battlefield. Every time you need to find something specific, you have to go through dozens of similar items. This not only wastes time, but also creates frustration. Plus, too many utensils make it harder to clean and organize your kitchen. We often keep duplicate utensils because we received them as gifts, or because we bought them without remembering that we already had a similar one, or even because we think that the more the better. The truth is that in the kitchen, quality is much more important than quantity. It is better to have 1 good can opener than 3 bad ones. To solve this, completely empty your utensil drawers and lay them out on the counter. Group items by function. All openers together, all peelers together, and so on. For each category, choose only the best copy, the one you actually use, and that works well. Everything else can be thrown away or donated. An extra tip: if you have any doubts about a utensil, put it in a separate box for 3 months. If during that time you don't miss it even once, it's a sign that it can go for good. Broken or malfunctioning utensils should be discarded immediately without mercy. The benefits of having only the essential utensils are immense. Your drawers will be organized and functional. You will find what you need the first time you try. cleaning the kitchen will be much faster and easier. And best of all, you will rediscover useful utensils that were lost in the mess. Tip 5. Plastic bags piled up. Here we have a classic that is present in practically every home, the famous bag of bags. You know what I'm talking about. That place where you keep all the plastic bags that come from your supermarket shopping, thinking that you'll use them all one day. The problem is that these bags multiply much faster than we can use them. For every trip to the supermarket, you bring at least 5 new bags, but you use maybe 1 a week for bathroom trash. The result? A mountain of plastic taking up valuable space in your closets, drawers, or pantries. In addition to taking up physical space, this accumulation of bags creates a visual and mental mess. Every time you go to look for something in the place where they are stored, you have to deal with this disorganized pile. What's more, old plastic bags can tear when you need them most, creating inconvenient situations. The solution is simple. Count how many bags you actually use each month and keep only twice that amount. If you use 4 bags a month for trash, keep a maximum of 8. Everything else needs to go. Look for plastic bag recycling collection points, which are usually located at the entrance of supermarkets. An even better strategy is to invest in reusable bags for shopping and bagless trash cans for areas where you don't produce organic waste. This will drastically reduce the number of new plastic bags entering your home. For trash that does need a bag, use only the amount you need. The benefits are immediate: more free space in your closet, less clutter, and the good feeling of doing your bit for the environment. You'll also stop wasting time searching for a good bag among a pile of old, torn bags. Tip 6. Expired or duplicate cleaning products. Now let's talk about something that most people don't even realize they're accumulating: expired, half-used, or duplicate cleaning products. I'm talking about that detergent you bought and forgot you already had another one like it, the disinfectant that's been in your cupboard for 2 years, the cleaning products you tried once and never used again. The problem with these products goes beyond taking up space. Expired cleaning products can lose their effectiveness or even become harmful. In addition, having too many different products can create confusion when cleaning your home. You waste time deciding which one to use, or you end up using the wrong one for a given situation. We often buy cleaning products on impulse, influenced by advertisements or promotions, without considering whether we really need them or whether we already have something similar. The result? A cupboard full of products that basically do the same thing, taking up space that could be used for other important things. To resolve this situation, remove all cleaning products from the cabinets and place them in a place where you can see them clearly. Check the expiration dates and immediately discard anything that is expired. For products that are still valid, group them by function: all degreasers together, all disinfectants together, and so on. For each category, keep only 1 or 2 products that you actually use and that work well. If you have 3 different disinfectants, choose the one that works best and get rid of the others. Half-used products that you haven't used in more than 6 months probably don't need them. The benefits include an organized and functional cleaning cabinet, saving money because you'll stop buying unnecessary products, and cleaning more efficiently because you'll know exactly which product to use for each situation. Plus, you'll reduce your family's exposure to unnecessary chemicals. Before I move on to the next tip, I want to tell you about something special I prepared for those who want to go beyond this video. It's a complete guide with organization secrets that completely transform my home and can transform yours too. The link is in the pinned comment, and for a limited time, I'm offering a special discount for channel subscribers. Now let's continue with the next tips, which are some of my favorites. Tip 7. Books you will never read again. This tip may be controversial, but it needs to be said. You probably have dozens of books in your house that you will never read again. I'm talking about those novels you read once and put away, technical college textbooks that are no longer useful, outdated encyclopedias, books you bought with good intentions but never had time to read. The problem with hoarding books goes beyond the physical space they take up. Unread books create constant psychological pressure, like an endless to-do list. Every time you look at them, you feel a pang of guilt for not having read them. This turns something that should be enjoyable into a source of stress. Additionally, books accumulate a lot of dust and can create a breeding ground for dust mites, especially if they are stored in humid places. Shelves full of books that you don't use can also make cleaning difficult and can make the room seem heavy and cluttered. To deal with this, be honest with yourself. Pick up each book and ask yourself these questions. Am I really going to read this again? Does this book still have useful information for my current life? And if I need this information in the future, can I find it somewhere else? For most books, especially technical and reference books, the answer will be yes. You can find the information elsewhere. Keep only the books you actually read, the ones that have genuine sentimental value, or the ones you know you'll read again. Everything else can be donated to libraries, schools, or people who might benefit from them. Books in poor condition can be recycled as paper. The benefits include cleaner, more organized bookshelves, less dust buildup, a brighter, more visually appealing environment, and the satisfaction of knowing that your books are being used by others. You'll also rediscover and appreciate the books that really matter to you. Tip 8. Excessive decorative objects. Now let's talk about something that many people don't realize is ruining the harmony of their home. Too many decorative objects. I'm talking about those picture frames scattered everywhere, the knickknacks that cover every surface, the ornaments you received as gifts and put everywhere, the decorative candles that you never light. The problem with having too many decorative objects is that they create visual clutter. Instead of beautifying the space, they end up making everything look cluttered and messy. In addition, each decorative object means one more thing to clean, more dust to remove, and more time spent on home maintenance. We often accumulate decorative objects because we think that quantity equals beauty, or because we don't want to waste gifts we've received. The truth is that effective decoration works on the principle of less is more. A few well-chosen and well-positioned objects make a much greater visual impact than dozens of items scattered randomly. To solve this, remove all decorative objects from the house and place them in a central location. Now look at each empty room and think, what feeling do you want to create in this space? What colors and shapes match the function of the room? Based on this, choose only the objects that really contribute to this feeling. A good rule of thumb is the rule of 3. Place no more than 3 decorative objects on each surface, and they should be different heights, textures, or colors to create visual interest. Everything else can be kept for occasional rotation, donated, or discarded if damaged. The benefits are transformative, visually cleaner, and more harmonious environments, much less time spent cleaning, greater impact from the objects you choose to keep, and the discovery that your home can be beautiful without being cluttered with things. Tip 9. Expired medicines. This is a safety issue that many people overlook. Expired medications piling up in bathroom cabinets, kitchen drawers, or forgotten purses. I'm talking about those leftover medications from old treatments, the medications you bought just in case and never used, the vitamins that are half finished. The problem of expired medications goes far beyond taking up space. They pose a real risk to your family's health. Expired medications can lose their effectiveness or even become toxic. In addition, having too many medications lying around the house increases the risk of accidental or inappropriate use. Another problem is that expired medications can give you a false sense of security. In an emergency, you may reach for a medicine that you think will solve your problem, when in fact it may not work at all, or may even make your condition worse. This can be especially dangerous with medications for serious conditions like heart disease or diabetes. To deal with this situation, do a thorough search of your home for all medications, including ointments, eye drops, syrups, and vitamins. Check the expiration date on each one and separate out any expired medications. Never dispose of medications in the trash or in the toilet, as this contaminates the environment. Look for collection points for expired medicines in your city. Many pharmacies and health centers have appropriate disposal programs. For medicines that are still valid, organize them in a specific place, preferably away from the humidity of the bathroom, and keep only those that are used regularly by the family. Benefits include greater safety for the whole family, reduced risk of accidental poisoning, more cupboard space, and the peace of mind of knowing that the medications you have will actually work when you need them. Tip 10. Old papers and documents. Let's talk now about something that is present in every home and that we rarely organize properly. Old papers and documents. I'm talking about those piles of bills paid from years ago. Manuals for appliances that you no longer have. Expired warranties, old receipts, business cards from people you no longer remember who they are. The problem with paper piles is that they create a real domestic archaeology. Every time you need to find an important document, you have to dig through piles of irrelevant papers. This wastes precious time and creates unnecessary stress. Plus, paper collects dust and can attract insects. We often hold on to papers for fear of needing them in the future. But the reality is that the vast majority of them will never be needed again. Electric bills from 5 years ago, receipts from old purchases, manuals for products you no longer have, these are all just dead weight taking up valuable space. To solve this problem, set aside a whole day to deal with all the papers in your home. Take everything and divide it into 4 piles. Important documents that should be kept forever, documents that need to be kept for a few years, papers that can be scanned and discarded, and trash that needs to be thrown away immediately. Really important documents include birth certificates, current contracts, property documents, and important medical records. Bills and receipts should be kept for no more than 5 years. Product manuals can be found online if needed. Anything that contains personal information should be shredded or burned to protect your privacy. The benefits are huge. You'll find important documents quickly when you need them. You'll have much more storage space. You'll drastically reduce dust in your home, and you'll get rid of the anxiety of not knowing where your important papers are. Tip 11. Tools and materials for unfinished projects. This tip is going to hurt a lot of people, but it needs to be said. You probably have tools and materials from projects you started and never finished. I'm talking about that painting kit you bought to renovate your room, the tools you bought for that repair you never did, the craft supplies from projects you left half-finished. The problem with these materials is that they take up a lot of space and create constant psychological pressure. Every time you see them, you are reminded of the unfinished project and feel a pang of guilt or frustration. It's like having physical reminders of your unfulfilled intentions scattered around your house. Additionally, tools and materials that are left unused can deteriorate over time. Paints dry out, tools rust, and craft supplies can be attacked by insects or moisture. In the end, you end up wasting money and wasting space. What's more, keeping these materials around gives the illusion that you'll get back to the project, preventing you from being realistic about your current priorities. To deal with this, be brutally honest with yourself. For each unfinished project, ask yourself, what is the realistic likelihood of me finishing this in the next 3 months? If the answer is low, it's time to get rid of the materials. Also consider whether your priorities have changed since you started the project. Good materials can be donated to schools, craft groups, or people who will actually use them. Tools can be loaned to friends or sold. For projects you really want to finish, set a realistic deadline and place the materials in a visible location as a constant reminder. Benefits include freeing up tons of storage space, reducing the mental load of pending projects, gaining clarity about your real priorities and current interests, and being able to focus energy on projects that really matter to you today. Tip 12. Expired beauty and hygiene products. Let's talk about something that women mainly accumulate, but that affects the whole family. Beauty and hygiene products that have expired or that are never used. I'm talking about that shampoo you tried and didn't like, the face cream that irritated your skin, the makeup that changed color, the perfumes you no longer use. The problem with these products goes far beyond the space they take up in your bathroom. Expired beauty products can cause skin irritation, infections, or allergic reactions. Plus, having too many products can create confusion in your daily personal care routine. You waste time deciding what to use or searching for the right product among dozens of options. We often buy beauty products on impulse, influenced by advertising or trends, without considering whether we will actually use them. The result? A bathroom full of half-used products, expired products, or products that simply don't work for our skin or hair type. To solve this, remove all beauty and hygiene products from your cabinets and drawers. Check the expiration dates and immediately discard anything that has expired. For products that are still valid, test each one. If it caused irritation in the past, if you don't like the smell, or if you haven't used it for more than 6 months, you can leave it alone. Keep only the products you actually use in your daily or weekly routine. A good rule of thumb is to have no more than 2 products from each category. 2 shampoos, 2 moisturizers, 2 foundations, and so on. This allows you to vary your products without creating excessive clutter. The benefits include a more organized and functional bathroom, a simpler and more efficient personal care routine, money savings because you'll stop buying unnecessary products, and a lower risk of skin problems caused by inappropriate or expired products. Tip 13. Old electronics and cables. This is a category that is growing exponentially in every modern home. Cables, chargers, and small electronics that we no longer use. I'm talking about the tangle of cables in the drawer, the chargers for devices that you no longer have, the broken headphones, the adapters that you don't even remember what they're for. The problem with these items is that they constantly create a mess in drawers and cabinets. Plus, tangled cords are frustrating to untangle when you finally need them. What's more, many of these cords and chargers no longer work or are from outdated devices, but you keep them just in case. Old cables and electronics can also pose safety risks. Damaged cables can cause short circuits, and incompatible chargers can damage new devices. Keeping these items around can also give you a false sense of preparedness, when in reality, they may not work when you need them. To organize this category, separate all of your cables, chargers, and small electronics into a place where you can see them clearly. Test each item to see if it works. For each cable or charger, identify the device it is for. If you can't identify it or the device no longer exists, you can discard it. Keep only the cables and chargers you actually use, plus a backup of each essential type. Organize them in small boxes or use seals to prevent them from getting tangled. To dispose of them, take them to an electronic waste collection point. Never throw them in the regular trash. Benefits include organized and functional drawers, reduced frustration of searching for tangled cables, reduced risk of electrical accidents, and the knowledge that the cables you have will actually work when you need them. Tip 14. Specialty kitchen items you rarely use. Let's go back to the kitchen and talk about something that almost everyone has. Those specialized utensils that seemed like a great idea when you bought them, but that rarely leave the cupboard. I'm talking about the egg slicer, the pineapple peeler, the brigadeiro maker, the vegetable slicer that you used twice. The problem with these items is that they take up valuable space in your cabinets and drawers, space that could be used for things you actually use every day. Plus, they make you feel guilty every time you see them, because they represent money spent on something that didn't bring the expected value to your life. We often buy these items with the best of intentions, thinking that they will revolutionize our way of cooking or that they will motivate us to prepare more meals at home. The reality is that most discontinue. Most of these specialized appliances can be replaced with basic tools you already have. A good peeler and a sharp knife will solve most of the problems these gadgets promise to solve. To assess these items, Take all of your specialty tools out of your cabinets and place them on your countertop. For each item, ask yourself, how many times have I used this in the last year? And can I do the same job with another tool I already have? If you've used it less than 5 times in the last year, you can probably live without it. Also, consider the space each item takes up versus how often you use it. That fondue pot you use once a year may not be worth the space it takes up in your cupboard. Appliances that only do a very specific job are usually not worth it unless you use them very often. To get rid of these items, first give them to friends and family who might have more use for them. Oftentimes, what doesn't work for you might be perfect for someone else. Items that are in good condition can also be donated or sold. Electrical appliances should be disposed of at appropriate collection points. The benefits of keeping only essential utensils include much more space in the cabinets, a more functional and organized kitchen, less time wasted searching for utensils among so many options, and the mental clarity of knowing that everything you have in the kitchen actually serves a useful purpose. Tip 15. Objects with excessive sentimental value. This last tip is perhaps the most difficult, but also the most liberating when you can apply it. I'm talking about objects that you keep purely for sentimental value, but that don't add anything positive to your current life. It could be that childhood doll that's gathering dust in the closet, mementos from relationships that have ended, gifts that you don't like but feel guilty about throwing away. The problem with too many sentimental objects is that they can keep us stuck in the past instead of allowing us to fully experience the present. When your home is filled with reminders of who you were, it can be harder to connect with who you are today. What's more, these objects often carry negative or nostalgic emotions that can affect your mood without you even realizing it. It is important to understand that memories do not live in objects, they live in you. Discarding an object does not mean discarding the memory or disrespecting what it represented at some point in your life. It means choosing to live in the present instead of being held hostage by the past. When dealing with sentimental objects, be very selective. For each item, ask yourself, does this object bring me joy when I see it today? And is this something I want to keep active in my current life? Keep only those objects that truly bring you positive feelings and that connect with who you are today. For items that have sentimental value, but you don't want to keep physically, consider photographing them before discarding. This way, you can preserve the memory without taking up physical space. For gifts that you don't like, remember that the value of the gift was in the gesture of giving, not the object itself. The benefits of letting go of emotional overload include a greater connection to the present, a lighter and more functional home, less emotional weight from the past, and the mental space to create new memories and experiences. You will find that you can honor your past without being a prisoner of it. Now that you know about these 15 items that are probably taking up unnecessary space in your home, it's time to take action. Remember, decluttering isn't about having a perfect home. It's about creating an environment that works for your current life. Every item you remove frees up not only physical space, but also mental and emotional space. The most important thing is to get started. Choose one of the categories that caught your attention in this video and dedicate an afternoon to dealing with it completely. You'll be amazed at the sense of relief and freedom that comes when you get rid of things that were just cluttering your life. Also remember that this is a journey, not a destination. Your home and your life are always evolving, so it's only natural that you'll need to do this cleaning periodically. The important thing is to develop the habit of regularly questioning whether the objects around you still make sense for who you are today. And you, which of these categories caught your attention the most? Which object are you going to start eliminating from your home today? Tell me in the comments. I love to know how these tips are transforming your life. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take the opportunity to subscribe and activate notifications, because I always bring content to simplify and improve your life at home. Until the next video,